Hey everyone, it's Katie from Katie's Scrappy Studio, and I have a tutorial to share with you. A few years ago I learned to make these little tiny envelopes, and they're return postage envelopes. And these are for swaps where you send in items to a hostess and she swaps them out with other people's things, and then she uses the postage you include to mail the items back to you, so she doesn't have to pay for your postage. So these are just the most adorable little envelopes, and they're so quick and fun to decorate because they're so small. And I've just been using a glue dot to keep these closed, and this one right here I have had for, oh gosh, at least 2 years, and that glue dot is still, it was a homemade glue dot too, one from, so it's really, you don't need to use Velcro or a magnet or anything like that. So let's just go ahead and get started. What you will need is a piece of paper that is 4 1/8 inches wide by 5 3/4 inches tall. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this at 4 1/8. And then it needs to be 5 3/4 inches tall. Okay, so it's a small piece of paper. And the next step is to go ahead and score it. And I'm going to be using my Martha Stewart scoreboard for this. I broke the top, so now I have to have duct tape on it. Okay, so we're going to score this on the short side, what I call portrait style. I'm going to score this, my measurements are up here, so you guys are seeing this from the side. Because this is a whole lot easier to use from the side than it is from the top. So I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to turn it 180 degrees to the other side, score it at 1/2 inch. Those are going to be the flaps of my envelope on the side. Now, I'm going to turn it landscape, and I'm going to score it at 1 1/2 inches, and then again at 3 5/8. That was 1 1/2 inches and 3 5/8 inches. Okay, so we're done with that, and we don't have a whole lot more to do because these are just the easiest little things. So you can hopefully see these the bumps from the score marks that I made on the other side. What we're going to do is take these 4 corners, and we're going to cut them out. Cut out those rectangles. We don't need those. Okay. Alright, so we have something that looks like this, like a really fat lowercase t. And normally this would be the this would be the bottom, this would be the top. But the other one, the last one that I made, the one with the big round flap at the bottom, or big round flap, it was the other way around. But this time I am going to go ahead and do it the normal way. Or no, I can't do it that way because it needs to be steep. Okay, never mind. Forget I said that. Okay, so this flap right here doesn't have to be this big. It's made it that large because I did that. Let me see if I can find that. What I did with that. This circle that goes all the way down to the bottom. That's how far down you would get it. It would be completely covered. If you want it to be shorter, like this right here, although we see those dots, that's where the flap is, like that. If you want it to be shorter, then just go ahead and cut it a little bit shorter. Just make sure that you have enough room for it to fold over and adhere to this flap at the bottom here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut mine down by, let me say, ½ inch here. And then I'm going to use Martha Stewart punch. I don't know what the name of this one is. I don't know if it says on it somewhere. But yeah, it's got a bunch of dots, and that's basically what it is, scallops and dots. I have this and the corner punch that goes with it, but those are the only Martha Stewart punches that I have, and it drives me crazy because I want more, but I don't know, I just can't spend money on punches for some reason. I always want something else. Okay, so got my little flap there. Now I'm going to fold this over and get my bone folder. I'm going to fold in the sides here, these little side flaps. And what I'm going to do is I want to round the corners of this bottom flap. Okay, and I'm actually going to miter the bottom right here, these flaps, and that just means making a triangle and cutting it out off the bottom. That way it folds up just a little easier, so it looks like that. And it doesn't have to be exact at all because nobody's ever going to see it unless they take your envelope apart. So we have these two right here, and I do want these top tabs to be rounded. So I'm going to fold this in to get that out of the way. Otherwise my corner rounder, I would have to take the guide out, and I don't like doing that because I never get it completely cleanly cut. So normally I would use my glue gun, but I forgot to turn it on, so I'm going to use my Aleene's Quick Dry tacky glue, and I'm going to put it on the bottom flap here. I'm not going to put it on here because I don't know exactly how far up this the flap goes, and that's why I always do just the bottom, do it on the flap instead of the tabs. And then I'm going to hold that there. Okay. And then I'm going to fold that over. I have it right there. And there we have my little envelope for return postage. How easy was that? This isn't completely dry yet, so it's going to come apart. And the homemade glue dot, use Aleene's Aleene's Tack It Over and Over glue, and just put a drop of that on wax paper, and it takes about 24 hours to completely dry clear, and then you're good to go. So all you have to do now is decorate and send it off with a swap, and put your stamps or put your folded up cash in there. That'll do it. Hope this was helpful. Bye everyone.